Hello, and thank you for watching my channel, Surviving the Narcissist. I'm Wanda, and I am a narcissistic abuse survivor. I started off being a victim. I went to the stage of being a survivor, and now I'm an overcomer, and I want to help you survive the narcissist. And I look at narcissism from a personal, because I am a narcissistic survivor, a professional. I'm a certified life coach. I have a master's degree in social work, and from a spiritual perspective. So today we're going to talk about uh, being discarded by the narcissist, because the narcissist will discard you like you're a piece of trash, like you never had any value to them, that you were never important to them. Narcissistic discard is when a person with narcissistic tendencies, behavior, because we don't really diagnose narcissists. Narcissistic personality disorder is a clinical diagnosis, and that's how they end their relationships. And when they end their relationship, the reason why they call it discard is because you feel like you've been used and you've been thrown away just like a piece of trash. A narcissist personality is someone who needs to feel better than other people. Everything's always a competition. They want to be the most important person in the room or the least accepted by the most important person in the room. When people often use the term narcissist, they refer to people, and we go over the traits or the behaviors or the red flags. They're selfish, they're self absorbed, it's all about them, they're always in the mirror. But narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition. So, we're going to talk about the phases that the narcissist uses to engage their victims. So the stages of narcissistic relationships is appreciation, and that's in the form of love bombing. Narcissistic relationships always start off at a high pitch. Love bombing. You're my soulmate. Where you been all my life? I can't live without you. The person will seem, they'll give you the impression that you're someone special. They'll make you feel like you're unique. It can either be romantic, professional, or otherwise. Church relationships, relationships on your job, they will move fast. We love you and we appreciate you. You're so anointed. You're so gifted. Then the next phase is devalue or depreciation. They devalue you. Eventually, the person with narcissistic tendencies will start picking you apart, finding fault in you. The things that they said they loved about you, all of a sudden they don't love about you. It's a problem. They said that they like women that were slim and trim, and then they're like, well, you're too skinny. You're like a bag of bones. At first, they complimented you on your work ethic, but now you're a workaholic. You want the job. Before they appreciate the fact that you were adventurous and you like to try new things. That's why they considered you unique. But all of a sudden, well, you think you're better than everybody else. Why you can't be like everybody else? Who ever heard of somebody doing whatever you like to do? So that's the depreciation or the devaluing stage. And while that is going on, that is affecting your self esteem. It's making you depressed. It's making you question yourself. It's gaslighting. One day they like it, the next day they don't. They like it for a week, and then all of a sudden they don't like it. So then repetition, that's the stage of you feel confused, anxious, depressed. And then you start trying to be good enough because, you wanted to go back to where the relationship was from the beginning. They made you feel good. If you try to pull away, so you go to the stage that you try to make things better. But let's say that from this video, you learned that you're in a narcissistic relationship. The person's a narcissist. So you're trying to get out the relationship. You're tired of being on the roller coaster, the merry-go-round. If you try, or when you try to pull away, they'll react with hurt and rage. They'll get angry. They may become violent. They're threatened. Well, if I can't have you, no one can have you. They may say that they're going to kill themselves. But if you fall for what they're doing, that is the cycle of appreciation and depreciation. It will start again. So it'll be a cycle of value, devalue. Value, devalue, discard. Cry to come back. Value you at work, you're a good employee. Devalue you by giving you a bad evaluation. Not constructive criticism, criticism. They load you up with work and tasks that you can't do. And then they devalue you because, well, I don't understand why you can't accomplish all this because you're my best worker. They value you and then they devalue you because they want you to do things that you can't do. Like they know you can't do it. It's not because you don't have the ability to do it. It's because you've been set up not to be able to do it. And then they discard you. They will use you for personal gain. They will use you for money. In a work relationship, even though they devalue you and said that you didn't do a good job, well, no, you didn't give them a 50-page paper, but you gave them a 20 or 25-page paper. Or the work that you did was valuable, but it would have been more valuable if you had stayed up all night for days and weeks at a time to accomplish it. But because you had a boundary, you met the deadline, but you weren't a superstar. You wasn't on your A game. But your A game benefits them. The A game doesn't benefit you because that's why they discard you. And when they no longer need to use you, they get rid of you. Because they're going to take credit for the work. So they don't want you around to say, wait a minute, this is my work. And they're going to be like, well, it's your work. I don't see where you copyrighted it. I don't see your name on the work. You just sent it to me. Or if you have a narcissist or you have a relationship with a narcissist that you try to develop and you encourage them to read, you encourage them to broaden themselves, or like the word that you have to be leery of was when people say you can enlighten somebody. You cannot enlighten a narcissist. Your attempt to enlighten them will end up with you being discarded. Because when you enlighten a narcissist, then you're no longer good. Well, I'm too good for you now because you could only get me to this level. I want to connect with somebody that can take me to a higher level, that can upgrade me, that can scale me. But when I met you, you didn't even know what scale meant. So, I mean, what are you talking about? But this is how they discard you. And this is like a personal, like I said, this channel is for personal. So I have had that personal experience, whereas I didn't know to copyright things. So I just would give information. I didn't know anything about protecting your intellectual property. And so then they want to get rid of you because they're going to take credit for everything you did. You know, just like when I wrote my first book, somebody wanted me to send them my whole manuscript for them to write the foreword. And I said, well, why do I have to send you a whole manuscript? Because my manuscript was based on um, how people that come from traumatic backgrounds, how they end up in abusive relationships when they go to churches, because they engage in relationships based on their history. And I'm like, well, you can just read one chapter and say, well, I enjoyed the book is about spiritual abuse. I really, I support you don't have to read the whole book to write a foreword. I had tons of books with forewords in them. And the way that they wrote the foreword did not imply that they read a whole book. This book can help people. This book is so you can say things. Well, to make a long story short, I did not give this person my foreword. I mean, I did not give him my manuscript, and I got somebody else to write a foreword. Why did it come out in the future? He said, well, I just have this thing about being first to write a book. Well, you can't be first. If you don't have the ability and the skill set, that's magical thinking. I like to write. I'm a writer. In addition to self-publishing 3 books, I'm working on 2 other books. I write a blog. I write the content for this YouTube video. I write. So you can't be a writer if that's not in you. So that's when the discard came in, because he never acknowledged that I had a book out. He would have vending stands for different events, because not only did he write a book, he didn't have a business. He would have it set up that you didn't have time to go see the vending stands. So that was a form of devaluing discard, because he said one thing, but he devalued in the behavior. And then once you paid for the vending spot, you would discard, because how are you going to get sales or get the purpose of having a vending stand is so people can know that you have a business, network, give them information, and hopefully a sale. When the people don't have time to go past the vending table that you paid money for. So the reason for this narcissistic discard, you were too difficult for them to control, because you knew who you were, who you are, who you belong to, you know your truth, and you can say no. So those are personal boundaries. You were easily manipulated by them, causing them to look down on you. They think you're a flunky. They think you're a fool. And because you were so easy to manipulate, they got bored, or you weren't a challenge to them. So that's why they look down on you. That's the devalue. So you don't have any value to me because you don't have no game. So I'm going to get rid of you because I want somebody that's a challenge, that I can, perfect my game. I can learn something from them. I can learn how to get over on other people by getting over on somebody that has skills. Um, Another reason is you no longer fuel their ego. They moved on to someone else who can supply what they need. Narcissistic supply. Because when you tell people no, you can't fuel their ego. When you ask questions, well, why am I signing this? Like now, when I do vending, I want to know, well, when are the times that the participants are going to be able to view the vending tables? Because I'm not paying for vending space uh, just to support an event. Because, if I'm going to support your event, I might just decide I just want to be a participant, or I might want to be a sponsor. But if I have a vending table, I want people to be able to come over to the table, engage, not only talk about my books, but also talk about I have a blog, I have a website, I'm a certified life coach, I'm a narcissistic abuse survivor, I'm 62 years old, I live to tell about it, I have a 15-minute consultation that's free. So that's the purpose, not to support your event only. Another reason for narcissistic discard, you may not be able to help them any further with their life goal. Like I always say, if you don't learn what I'm trying to teach you or what I'm trying to give you from these videos in this channel, when they get finished with you, you will have nothing. No brain, no mind, no money, your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health. So when you set boundaries, that's the reason why you can't help them. Because you started realizing, well, wait a minute, there's no reciprocity. They're just takers. They're just users. They just sit back and let you do everything. Another reason is they feel they can level up and move on to someone better. And most of the time, the reason why they feel that way is because of what you instilled in them. Be the best that you can be, a spirit of excellence. So a lot of times, because you're going through the narcissistic abuse, you may be depressed. So the same thing that you were giving them at the beginning of the relationship, you're no longer giving. You're no longer texting motivational things. You're no longer saying, "Well, come on, let's go to this a particular motivational, a particular challenge, whatever the challenge is. To watch less television, because television can be a sign of disassociation and you can numb yourself. So we're going to, watch less television and we're going to accomplish something. Let's exercise more. Let's do this. Well, once you become depressed, you might can barely get out of bed. So you don't even have the energy to do anything but go to work. You don't have any energy to exercise anymore. And you used to exercise all the time before you hooked up with the narcissist, or on a regular basis. Because, of course, one of the things that you have to be careful of is people making you think that you're perfect. So nobody does anything perfectly, but you had a regular schedule. So your impact on your mental health is people with narcissistic tendencies, they want you to become dependent on them. And once you become dependent on them, you lose yourself and you become trapped in a cycle. And once you become trapped in that cycle, it's devalue and it's discard. And I hope this video has helped you learn about devalue and discard. And in the future, there are going to be other videos because, as I stated, I'm a 63-year-old narcissistic abuse survivor, and now I'm an overcomer. So I have a lot of information from a personal, a professional, and a spiritual perspective. And if you want to learn more, please visit my website, www.visionofrecovery.com. I offer a 10-minute free consultation to see if you want to work with me. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your comments on being devalued and discarded by a narcissist. And until next time, thank you for watching my channel and be blessed.